I want to talk about my daughter Jana and her situation. Let's get to it. Jana's situation. So, you all know that my daughter Jana moved to New Mexico about 5 or 6 years ago, ended up getting divorced and separating from her husband. She actually went to nursing school there and got her degree as an RN or LPN, I think. Um, then at 30 years old, Jana decided to try methamphetamine. This kid was so straight laced, she would give us hell for smoking weed. And then just went hardcore. From there, she started shooting meth and heroin and doing fentanyl. She's OD'd on fentanyl several times. So I reconnected with Jana. We had not talked since around mid 2020. We had a disagreement. Okay. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's not part of the issue. I found out she was using hardcore drugs, and I felt a desire to talk to her. I needed to talk to my child. I wanted to make sure she was okay. She was not okay. Within a couple of months of us beginning talking again at the beginning of this year, Jana went MIA. I could not find her anywhere, so I had to report her missing through the system over there. Any of you out there that will see this from New Mexico, if y'all think she's difficult, wait till you have to deal with her mama. But anyway, reported Jana missing. They finally found her in May. They arrested her. She had some charges. Most of the charges are for felony stalking. Her ex-husband took a 50B out on her. He has the children, and he took a 50B out, and she violated that on several occasions. In her high state of mind, she was trying to get to her children. She was having delusions that her children were being tortured and murdered, and she reacted in this such a way. She's also done some things that, she texted one of her daughters and said some pretty ugly things when she was on drugs. My issue is, first of all, she was on drugs. Why would you not want to help the woman instead of causing her more issues? But that's a slippery slope, because her ex-husband has never been a full-on husband, dad, father, son, any of that. The issue here now is that my daughter is being housed in the detention facility, in the jail in New Mexico, where her ex-husband works. And at first I thought, I flip flopped on what I believe with her, and the drug addiction, the drug use, and the fact that Jana, it has a lot of narcissistic personality traits, and I would feel like if she were diagnosed, that's probably what she'd be diagnosed with. She's very difficult, extremely difficult. She's hateful, but she's my daughter, y'all. She's my daughter, and I love her. And seeing her being tormented, she's been beat up a couple of times in jail, which we all are probably, she runs her mouth. And she even said it, but, still, she's in a facility where her ex husband currently works and has had affairs with multiple women in that facility. So he's got allies, multiple allies on his side. The fact that, this man didn't hold a job until they moved to New Mexico. Challenge me on that, son. Challenge me on it. They were together for 13, 14 years and he didn't work. He was not a drug addict. He was not abusive. Um, he was just lazy. So, I'm not like trying to put him out there as a super bad guy. He was just lazy. He was a 30-something-year-old man who depended on his mother to take care of him. And she did until she moved out of here. They lived on the same street we did. We moved to Asheboro to be around my daughter and my grandchildren, and we lived on the same street. Well, the mother-in-law moves, gets a traveling nurse job, and ends up in New Mexico, and she settles there. My daughter decides the best thing to do, which was a stupid decision. We tried to tell her at the time, was to pack her shit and go back with mother-in-law, because she depended so much on her. Because even though she wasn't like, I'm not going to give my daughter like super kudos for being the breadwinner, but she was. She was. She was the breadwinner. She was the one who held the most steady employment. She was the one who tried to manage the house and take care of the bills. And I think she got a notion in her head about 5 or 6 years ago that we just have to move where his mother is so she can help take care of us. Because she had 3 daughters, it was overwhelming, and he never worked. He never held a job. And now he's some stellar upscale out, just upstanding fucking prison jail guard in Luna County, New Mexico. And I think that there must be some kind of law or precedent or something that says that you cannot house a spouse in a facility with an ex-spouse. There, even if you know, if the shoe were on the other foot, if Jana were abusive and there was, you know, copious documentation of her being an abuser, male or female, they would not have her housed in the same facility with the person that she abused that is working there. So I mean, there's contention anyway when you're divorced, and he's got a new woman, and this little sassy thing thinks that she knows it all. She runs her mouth, and Jana fought her once, and so that was the reason for the 50B. But my thing too is, I'll sidetrack just a tiny bit. It's not really a sidetrack. For you young girls who get yourself entangled with a man who has a past, and you think that you know better, that you've got some big knowledge of that relationship, keep your fucking mouth shut. Shut your fucking mouth. Step aside and let the ex-spouses handle the business, because it does not do any good for you to go nipping at ankles like a little chihuahua thinking that you know the situation just because you got knocked up. Now he baby daddy. And talking shit to my grandchildren about any of us is just uncalled for. But my whole point of this video, besides ranting and raving and running my fucking mouth, was, ain't there some kind of law against that? Does she have to be they just miserable? I am, after speaking to somebody in the medical part of this jail today, and knowing Jana told me a little something about that person, I no longer am fully believing that it's all just Jana in her head. I think that there is actually some neglect and some spite work going on throughout the jail. She has had her tablet given to her, not charged, so she can't text me, and that's the only way we communicate now. um, she has missed meals. They don't bring her meals to her. There was a couple of times when I know that her meal wasn't even, however they bring it out, it wasn't there. um, she's been beat up by a couple of inmates. She gets put in with inmates who are much more violent and volatile than her. Just things are being done to her that I'm starting to get on any spiritual path, but I am a real instinctual person. I guess what they call an empath. And I feel energies, and I just, something just clicked in my head when I was speaking to this person in medical, and it just dawned on me, Jana's not lying to me. She's not making any of this stuff up. They've kept her in there 6 months on a charge, and she goes to court and nothing ever happens. She goes to court at least twice a month. So what are they doing? She's not prolonging the process. Who's doing it? But anyway, that's it. I'm going to end it here because I'm just so angry, because something just told me today that she's not in her head. They are doing things to her to be spiteful. And I will tell you what, I gave the person in the medical facility that I spoke to a big chunk of my mind, because they're supposed to be working out a facility for my daughter to go to for rehab when she gets out. Now, every time a bed comes available, they pull her into court. And then as soon as court's over, the bed's not available. So there is a lot of sketchy shit going on in Luna County, New Mexico. And Mama's going to get to the bottom of it tomorrow. Trust me, I will. Peace. I hope I pissed off some people.